Hello everybody, welcome back to RC on Track. We got our wltoys all tore apart. We're going to put it back together. So this video will help you put the car back together if you've gotten lost. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, it's a lot to tear apart this car to rebuild the differentials, the drive shaft. We've already done the ESC and the motor in another video. You can check up on that. I'll see if I can get a link in somewhere in there for you. We'll try. Otherwise, just go search through my videos and you'll find more wltoys. It's listed under Hannibal. I was mispronouncing the name on the chat on the car. It's the Muscle Flame Ace by Habil Race World. I don't know how I mixed that up for Hannibal, but I did. Hence why I have these glasses right here, so I can see. Alright, so this is the car. So with all that being said, I'm going to position the camera so that you guys get an overview of what I'm doing and where we're at. So bear with me here. I'll position the camera and we'll get it going. Okay, thank you. Alright, so we're back at it, and this is your Muscle Flame, or my wltoys is called Muscle Flame. I don't know what yours is going to be called, but they're all the same. It's a 1/12 scale car. This pertains to the other 1/12 scale cars that wltoys has put out, as long as it's a 4-wheel drive, that is. Things we've done to ours is a new brushless waterproof motor, 45 amp ESC, and an oversized servo that we had to make our own servo mount for, because I couldn't find the pillars to mount the servo to. So we got everything greased up. There's 6 screws that go back into the case. We're going to drop those 6 screws in first. We'll put the back case on, put those 6 screws in, and then we'll mount the cross member, and then we'll reattach the steering. And do not forget to put the dust cover back on. That is a very essential part to keep gravel from going down in between your gears. So that's basically it. And to take the front diff cover off, all I did was disconnect this shock, this push-pull bar right here, torsion bar, and the front bumper from the swing hinge here. Okay, so you do that, you can pick this right up, this case cover right up, and switch it out. The new gears came completely metal interior. Spider gears are metal. Everything is metal, 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 and it's of a better quality metal. This is the old ring gear right here. It's made out of like a potted cheap metal. So were the pinion gears. They were also made out of the same type of potted metal. These right here, you can see the sheen on the teeth. After a little while, they start wearing and getting potholes in them, pitting. And when that happens, they ultimately fail and disassemble in the case here, which damages the spider or the ring gear. So that's everything that's going on. We're gonna start putting this car back together. This is an extensive video, so if you're looking for a run video, there's some of those on my channel here. Again, this is just how to put your car back together video, wltoys 1/12 scale. All right, so let's get it going back together, which I don't really feel like doing because I am just extremely tired and I don't really want to do it today, but gotta get ready for this weekend so we can get you guys some run videos. One screw at a time, man. It's tedious work. That's all I can do anymore, so sit on my butt and do nothing. So this car had a bad glitching problem, so I thought. We did have a bad ESC at one time. We had a bad motor at one time. We replaced the ESC in the motor, and it kept making this glitching reaction. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, well, why is this happening? This is all brand new stuff. Maybe I got a bad motor again. So we switched out the ESC first. It was fine. I hooked the motor up to a different to this ESC without it being hooked to the gear, and it was fine. So that led me to believe it was a mechanical issue and not an electrical issue. So we took out the rear diff there, and it had some wear to it. The dog bone receivers here on the old one, very worn. You can see it. You can see it wiggle around there. So that means interior is hashed. We'll save these because we're gonna lock them into permanent lockers, and then keep them as a spare part, so that if these break down, we can still put the car back together and see why they broke down. And if we can turn these into lockers later on down the road, we will. But for now, they're limited slip, and that is so that you have better control on road. If you're just getting into the RC world, about the only thing you want lockers on is your rock bouncer and or your crawlers. My suggestion for rock bouncers, though, because the rock bouncer is typically something that you can drive all terrain, I would suggest just lockers in the back, unless you just use it for hill climbing and bouncing over rocks, then yeah, go all the way with the lockers. But other than that, if you're going to get any road play out of it, you would want to do lockers in the rear only. It still won't drive super awesome on the road, but it'll drive better. Would I suggest anybody to buy this car? If you buy this car, the first thing you're going to run into is ESC overheat, which melts the plastic casing around the ESC, which once it overheats, it surges the motor, the original stuff, not this stuff, the original stuff. The ESC will start melting down. It'll surge the motor. Once it surges the motor, the fan in the stock motor melts, binds up in the motor, fries it. That's what happens to this car. Out of nowhere, running the same exact battery it came with the car, which is a 2-cell LiPo. 7.4, 2200 milliamps. And there you go. That's what it looks like. This is stock, and it runs this gear no problem. Get plenty of tire swell. There's a video of that. It's a short video, so be sure to catch it. It does go extremely fast. It's like rolling on blades once it gets top in, so definitely want to be prepared for that when you do your upgrade. The reason why you see all the purple hop-ups on it, all the purple A-arms and stuff, is because once we got it going fast, we hit a piece of concrete and it exploded the front end. So to fix it, I just went metal. The push-pull bars here, if you notice, they're constantly wobbly. They have brass bushings at the steering knuckles. Kind of don't like them. I may go back to the plastics here on the push-pulls, and that's so I can get rid of some of the slop. And I may or may not, yeah, I'll probably just keep these A-arms on it. They seem to be locked in pretty good. So if you notice here, these little pieces here are plastic in your car, and they're going to break. Your pin that runs into them is going to fly out. Your A-arm's going to fall off. I made these out of a tent stake. You can't get replacement ones that I've been able to. I tried with the brochure and everything, and I couldn't get the part. So I just got the drill press out and drilled out some tent stakes, and they work great. They're not falling apart. We drive the crap out of this car, and there's no problems with it. Other than this one's too long, and you can see here how it's flared out. So what I will do in this one is I will shave off on the inside a little bit of this piece that I made. I made it extra long so the pin carrier here doesn't slide out or move around, and with it being that long, it ensures that it's not going to tear out either. And I did it in the front as well. This one in the back busted out. This one did not. I kept this one plastic. And then same in the front. The two back ones in the front haven't popped out yet, so we're just leaving that alone. And the reason why is because you got to tear it apart to get in there, and it's a pain in the neck. If you're tearing it apart, just go all the way and do them all, replace them all, because that's just what should have been done in the first place with mine. But I didn't do it because I'm either lazy or I just didn't feel like it. These axles that come with the wltoys car are super bendy. So you gotta straighten them best you can so you don't get axle wobble, which is also going to cause you friction that you don't want. Okay, let's get some more done to this car. So we got all 6 of these in. Now we need to find those ones, which are going to be in this pile of screws that have been sitting here for a week. And I hope I can find them. Look at that mess. So I'm assuming it's this cluster back here. Yeah, it's going to be these 6. So where'd my diff cover go? There it is. Okay, that's clean enough for my taste. We'll get these screws in place. So yeah, you know, I could fast forward this and make it go faster, but I'm not going to, because again, this is just showing you how to put your car back together. There's kids that watch these videos and they're like, "Mom, my car's broke." Well, kid, watch this video and you'll be able to put this wltoys back together. I'd like to give a shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are great. We are going to be doing a giveaway. Our very first subscriber, I just saw your email in my inbox, and I'll be getting a hold of you. As soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be getting a hold of the first ever subscriber, and the 1,000th subscriber, they get a special prize. I've mentioned it in other videos. And then after that, per every 1,000 subscribers that we get, one person out of that 1,000, we're not going to say the first or the 1,000th. We're going to say the next 1,000 after our first 1,000 will get a special gift from us. Now, the gifts will vary. Our first 2 giveaways are going to be probably some RTRs, and I don't know scale size yet because that day hasn't came. When that day comes, we'll definitely be getting in touch with you guys, and all we ask is that you email us the unboxing video so we can post it on our channel, so that everybody out there in YouTube land can see that we're not fibbing and that we are being honorable to what we're doing with our channel. As my channel progresses, so will my workstation, so will everything. Everything will progress. We're out on the coast, so we have the weather that everybody on the everybody was it towards the east gets our weather after we do. So right now it's really crappy and cold and wet, and we're getting some little short videos for the shorts, but we will be getting some good run videos, beach run videos. I told my family, I said, no matter what, we're going out this weekend to do a couple run shoots at the beach because these cars need their element to perform nicely without getting thrashed. If you're new to RC, man, you got to really think about where you're riding your car. Plenty of open space. If you're jumping it, I suggest not to jump it on concrete because that will damage your shell and other parts. Concrete is very unforgiving where dirt is not. Or concrete is very unforgiving where dirt is forgiving because it's got give to it. So that's why I like going out to the sand dunes. Sand can get in your bearings and whatnot, so when you get your car home, you definitely want to blast it out with some good quality air compressed air and clean it out real good before you run it again, because you will basically be putting sandpaper on everything. Alright, so that's in. Now I believe I'm going to move to the front of the car and get the steering back together, and we'll go through what it is that you need to make sure is in order for it to go together nicely and work properly. Okay, so you're together, steering, this guy, all of that. Oh man, it's a lot of stuff to get done. So I lost this bushing, so we machined one out of a shock mount. It was a pretty simple little fix, and it works. So don't laugh, but it works. So that's all that matters. Make sure your wheels are straight so you know where you're lining up at. Now this piece here and these steering whatever they're called, I forget what they're called, dang it. Anyways, your steering here, switching it over to metal really didn't hurt it much, but you get play at these bushings no matter what. Even if you make your own bushings, you're still getting play. Now with a heavy duty Allen screw for this side fails me, I'll do the same. And the reason why is because you get less stripping on the screw head. But then again, you know, Allen screws do strip pretty easy, so you got to be diligent about what you're doing and make sure you're not over tightening. Make sure your hex head is in the proper position so you don't strip. Like that. Alright, let's get this tightened up and then we'll assemble the rest of the front of this car. So I put the flat side of the bushing on top. It was on the bottom. I put it on top and it's got way less play to it. So you might want to do that with yours. It's up to you whether you put them on top or the bottom. Make sure it turns good still. Make Make sure my bearings are in place for the next set of screws to go in. And they are going to be hiding from me. That's these guys here. So you see how they got a built-on washer. You want to make sure those go back in the right place. Oh. Sucks when that happens. You have to go fishing. And the only reason why I make sure the screws are going exactly the way they came out is because of thread bite. Not every screw bites on the threads the same way, so I try to keep the screws in order of to where I put them or where they came out at. I could put Loctite on these, but I just feel it's not needed. So my hopes and dreams with this car is I'm going to put it back together and all my nightmarish problems are gone. The car worked great when we first got it until it just slowly disassembled. This car is now worth about $350 has been dumped into the car on top of purchase price. So we're looking at almost $400 into this one car. Hobbying is a fun thing, but if you don't want to be fixing and repairing constantly, I would suggest to get a Slash. Yeah, the Red Cat Blackout's a good car, but the rear differential is the first thing that broke in ours. Besides, let me retract that. The first thing that broke in the Red Cat Blackout was the ESC fried. The motor fried because it's a RTR. RTR parts, unless you're spending good money, are cheap generic parts that do fail. So the motor fried, the ESC fried. The rear pinion gear came apart, which kind of destroyed the ring gear on the Diff, and so we had to change it out. And there's a whole video on that if you own a Red Cat Blackout and you don't know what to do. Where are we at? We are done with the steering, so we need to put this push-pull bar back on. We need to put that back on, the shock, and move forward from there. This goes to the... Yeah, these things just constantly want to come loose on me. So I think putting the plastic ones back on would be the best thing to do. But although I'm not doing that right now because I don't feel like doing all that and then some to clean up the play in the front end of this car. So I have to go in at an angle because all this stuff in the way, and that's where you want to be kind of careful with your screw. Go slow and steady so you don't strip out your screw head. Everything's in the way. Okay. And I just remembered it is coffee cup time, so there will be a... So, where were we? I had to go get something with caffeine in it. We got that hooked back up. Let's make sure it's all the way tight. So we're at the push-pull bar. And if you are watching this, you're like, man, you got a hard angle on your screwdriver. I know I do. Leave me alone. Let me do what I got to do because I don't want to take the ESC out to lay the screwdriver flat. So plenty of pressure. Give it a little bit more. Okay, your shock screws are going to be the biggest screw on your table. And it goes straight on through to the other side. I think this is the most videoed car I got because we've had to work on it the most, obviously. It seems like every time I touch this car off the table on the ground, I break it. 1, it's fast. 2, it's fast. And 3, everything that I've replaced is because what was there was not worthy. The plastics that came with this car, as far as the A-arms, steering knuckles go, it's a hard plastic, so it will shatter on impact. If you can find plastic parts for this car that are flexible, I actually suggest you get those as long as they're flexible plastic, because then you won't destroy metal parts. If you're running metal parts, keep it off the street, because you hit anything, you're going to be not liking it anymore. So you'll notice, look, we got considerable amount of drift in our car, and it's because of these bushings at the ends of these push-pull bars are just sloppy. I've tightened up the nuts on it numerous times. They just keep backing off. There's not much I can do to keep them tight. I'm not going to put Loctite all over this stuff because I'm not. I have to get my little tiny wrench. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. So, okay, so we got the front end back together other than this. So let's get this back on. Yeah, it just slides into place like so. Pretty simple stuff. And then for your front bumper, it's this fine thread. And be sure you put the fine thread back where it goes, because the coarse thread will just chew it up and you'll end up with a screw going in the wrong spot, which will strip out the threads on the plastics. So I was saying, you know, a good beginner car is the Slash. Just like any off-road anything, it gets wear and tear and breakage. So be prepared for that. If you're just getting into the RC world, they do break. It's a little vehicle that goes nuts. And if you think about it in scale size, if you took a car and did half the stuff you do with your RC car, you wouldn't have a car anymore. Like my Tacoma, if I jumped it, you know, 50 times in the air and landed it flat on the ground or on its front tires or on its back tires, you know, you're breaking the car up. A good transition on your jump to your landing is key to keeping your car together. If you're jumping and landing flat, you're taking a risk, because when you slam it on the ground, it does tend to pop pieces off your car. If you land on your, say, your back tire, and what happened with my Slash the other day, I landed right on the back tire and it blew the shock apart. So I went with a lighter oil in the shock in hopes that it doesn't pop it apart again, because if it does, then I'll have to buy, I'm just going to buy the upgraded shocks for the Slash. I do recommend that you buy the upgraded shocks for the Slash, because the plastic threads on top of the shock tend to be too fine of a thread and it'll pop loose. So our front of our car is together. We got that on. So we're going to put our dust cover on. There's a little plastic piece that slides in right here on top of this bearing. You want to make sure that's in place. It's right here. And I still got a pile of screws over here. It just looks so scary. So this little plastic piece holds this bearing in place. If you don't put that in, you'll have a problem. So it goes in just like it came out. I believe it goes in like this. Let me see. Yeah. So this piece here goes to the gear side of the shaft. And it's just a drop-in piece. You don't have to worry about anything. It's like that. Beautiful. Yeah, we're good. Good. Boom. And then this is your little dust cover. And you definitely want this in because it keeps gravel and dust and debris out of your gears. Your car will work without it, but it probably won't work for long. So that's in. So now we're going to put the cross member on, reassemble the rear end, and hopefully we put it on the ground. There's no issues anymore. It's been a fight. The whole time we've owned this car, it's just been a fight. It's very nightmare-esque. I don't appreciate the company selling me a car that is literally falling apart since day one. Okay, so I gotta take those screws back out of the steering. I got ahead of myself. So your pillar screws here, you gotta take them back out if you already put them in. If you haven't, cool, wait, because you gotta mount the cross member on top of this stuff. So because of the issues I've had with this car, like the servos just constantly, I'm constantly burning them up, or they're stripping out, or no, that's about all they can do. So that kept happening. So I went to the bigger size, and I haven't had the problems I had before with the servo, but oh, are you serious? So with these pillar screws, underneath you have a screw holding the pillar in place, and I just loosened this one all the way up. So tighten it back down. I put my finger on the screw on the bottom and then take the top one out. And then after we get it assembled, we'll flip the car over and adjust that screw that came loose on the bottom. Oh, it's still coming out. See how that bearing fell out? That turns into a problem if you're not careful. Okay, now it should come out. Are you serious? Man, this thing wants to be a pest. So I don't want stuff to freaking get lost like these little bearings. So this is gonna drive me a little batty on how I'm gonna do this. Where's my magnet? So get that no guy back out of there. Need a screwdriver that's gonna work for me. So we're holding that bottom screw now in hopes that this top one just comes out already. And it's not. What the heck? want to take it all the way apart. And it's still coming out. Wow. All right. This thing's going to be a pest. So, it wants to come all the way out. We're going to have to take it all the way out. Which sucks because I don't want to go through all this. Is it going to come out the top? Of course not. I don't know why it's locked in. I didn't cross thread it. Everything went smooth as far as putting it back together. Shoot. Alright, let's flip the car over, put the screw back in, cinch it up really tight. Hopefully we don't lose a bunch of parts while it's upside down. This is driving me a little crazy right here. Now this has happened to me a couple of times, but not like this. Why don't you go home? There it goes. Okay. Now it's just getting out of hand. I don't know why this car wants to be a pest. All right, this is menacing. Very, very menacing. All right, so that was a pain in the neck, but we got it done. Where's my bearing at now? There it is. These bearings, when they wear out, you can get them on Amazon. That's where I found my replacement bearings. They're still cheap and crappy, but they work. And there's that. Now we'll get those screws back in, and we're almost done with this thing. And we can take it out and see if it's fixed. Front cross member screws are on my table somewhere. So the washer screw goes on the ears that are sticking out there, as you can see. It's like that, and now where's the other one? Here. Place. Excuse me. then you got these little short guys that go in the front of the cross member, center support, whatever you want to call it. I call it another plastic part that I will eventually change out. And they do make them in the purple, if you like purple, and I'm not sure about any other colors because it's the first set of hop-ups I looked for this car, and they just happen to be purple. And seeing as how my daughter actually owns this thing, now we usually say 11-year-old can do it, you can do it too. Well, here's the thing. If I had her out here tearing this thing apart without guidance, it'd just be a mess and a very bad situation for me because I'll have to dig through the mess to put it back together. So I decided to do this one for doing the minor stuff. Kids can do by themselves. There's no need for help. Maybe a little guidance, but you can leave them to it. And so these screws that are going in the back of this car are a different kind than what you guys have originally. And the reason why is they ended up stripping out because we took the motor out so many times that the little tiny screw holes just stripped out. So we put in a little bit bigger screw, and then we switched out the Phillips heads with Allen's to go back into the metal here. That goes into the motor mount. Okay. Allen wrench. So if you're following me on my rock bouncer, the replacement axle shafts are coming in by Friday, and I'm hoping to have it all together and ready to go for the beach run. The axles that I bought for that thing are not ideal for a rock bouncer of this nature. I have to get a better quality axle, so I'm just kind of looking and watching and seeing what people are using, seeing what's out there, getting intel, so I know exactly what axles I'm going to throw on that rock bouncer. I'm going to keep it all metal. I don't want plastic axle housings because I don't want stuff to break. Bending is not as bad as breaking in most cases. Okay, so this is all ready to be reassembled. So I'll reposition the car and dig through our obscene amount of screws over here and just start getting this rear suspension and axles back together. So I went with all the way around. I went with the CVD dog bones. So dog bones on the back, CVDs in the hubs. And the reason why I did that is because I was noticing that just the dog bone, double end dog bones were bending a lot faster than these guys. So I just, when we got the upgrade kit, we took we left the old ones in the front and we put the brand new ones in the back. And these ones were initially for the front of the car, and we put them in the back. It totally works fine. So if you buy the hop-ups, keep the front set of axles, straighten them if you can, and use all 4 CVD dog bones. Just seems to work a lot better as far as functioning goes with the car. There's this eyeglass case here to perch. So don't worry about your shock too much there. Just position your axle into the dog bone receiver like so, and then place your push-pull bar in position, and again it's going to be this screw right here that goes back into your, I call them torsion bars, and when you look them up they're called push-pull bars. This is like the worst pain of this whole car, I think, right now. So it wants to mess with me. Well, the steering was definitely the worst pain of this video, but we got that resolved real quick. Go home. There you go. And it fell out. So I had a couple guys out there hitting me up. Guy from the dump wanted his nitro car fixed. I don't know what happened to him. He's supposed to get me a chassis for the work, and it didn't happen. So we're going to scratch that. And then my buddy Robert, he's got a hobby of riding downhill on mountain bikes, so he's an extreme mountain biker guy. So getting him to get me the other slash chassis so we can build it is being a little troublesome. I probably have to go to his house. And again, this is a pain because the screw is lined up with the chassis, and you gotta find that angle so you don't strip your screw, and so that other side. We're rounding off. We're gonna have the top back on here in a second. I gotta re-glue the receiver in there, but other than that, we're almost done, you guys. So kind of bear with me. There, this guy goes here. Now I could have put the push-pull bar on the back side and made my life way more simple. The reason why I'm not is because for some reason it's changing the angle of the tire. No matter how I adjust it, the tire is just not sitting appropriately. So we switched them over to the inside here, and then the tire was sitting more level the way it should, more balanced. And although with this car there's not much balancing going on, it's pretty sloppy. There it is. So I'm gonna do it this way. All right, so our suspension, our shocks mount to the shell. Everything's back together. This mounts to the shell. So we got 6 shell mounting screws. And then we have these 2 go to the back cross member. They're a fine thread for this, or the back bumper here. You got a fine thread that goes into that. And then you should have 6 identical screws for the rest of it, and then 2 smaller screws that go right into the front of the shock tower here to mount the shell on the car. We'll go ahead and set those aside. So we're going to put the shell on, and we're done. Okay, so I'm going to save you a couple seconds of time. All right, you guys, so we're mounting the shocks. These screws are going in the shocks. They're the longest and the biggest screws for the car. And it's for the rear shocks. Takes a couple seconds to get them to go home, but it's not the end of the world. Let's get the screw back in. You might have me my drill. I like doing these with the drill because it's just way faster. That's Corinne. That's getting me my drill.
This one?
No, the other one. So you push the shock in like so, and you're going to pull it back down just a tad.
Oh, a drill bit just fell behind there.
Not that one, the orange one. Where is it? The little orange one.
Oh, the little one. It's not in here.
Uh-oh. What did I do with it? Oh, never mind.
It's above your head. Crazy.
Yeah, bring me that,
The what?
the red drill, and we'll just use it. We just gotta be careful not to send these things too far in. Like so. So I don't suggest using one of these for putting it back together. I'm having to just for the moment.
Oh, you're using the drill for that.
Yeah, I don't want to use this drill because you take a risk of slamming that screw through the plastic. So
You're ready for the car.
So if this thing still glitches after all this inspirational video I've done with you guys, the only other thing I am suggesting to do is to put a 3-cell lipo in it, and we'll go from there. I'm not putting the front body cover on it because just in case something goes wrong, I want to be able to just take it apart real quick. You can see this is a big mess in here of wire. So what we did to make sure the top shuts is push the wires down all the way flat like that. Put your antenna wire in its sock or tube. Mine's right here because it's convenient. Push the tube back up a little bit like so. And then the on and off switch, we hot glue it with Gorilla Glue, hot glue to hold it in place. And close this top. So get our hood clips.
You got it up?
And the other one. So if, like I said, if this thing's still glitching, we're going to throw more power at it. And we can do that test really easy just by hooking a bigger battery to the car. It can handle a 45 milliamp battery, what we got set up in here. So I'm not too worried about hooking a bigger battery to the car. Although the front servo might not like it too much. But it should be pretty much well protected from overheating. Time for a new glue gun. This one's falling apart. Alright, you guys, I'm going to glue the switch in. You're going to see a link pop up, and that's going to be where you go to watch the run video. I'm not going to do a run video attached to this video because of the length of this video. It's almost an hour long, 56 minutes. So
the link will be in the chat, probably, or in the title. We'll figure something out.
why don't you just put the little windows in like you do on the other ones? Why, that was too hard for you? Push the button. I'm complaining and I don't do it. She does. A lot of the editing stuff because I don't have the patience for it. So I'm just gluing.
But the link will be in the title or in the chat. So if you want to see it drive, go into the chat or look at the title, okay?
Okay. Waiting for this glue gun to heat up real quick. And we'll shoot a run video of the car. If it, like I said, if it's glitching after this, then we're going to have to change the way we're thinking on power. I put a good little gob on here so that it encases around the plastic a little bit, like so. And then we just push it down into the position we want it. And that's perfect. Wires are inside the car. All right, you guys. This back wheel's really crooked for some reason. Yeah, I can't adjust that anymore. Well, I guess I could a little bit. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So you guys, there it is. Your muscle flame completely put back together. And you guys set up so you can see me real quick. So very tedious car to build. It's not for the faint of heart, man. I'll tell you, it's been a battle since we bought this car. Brand new hop-ups, brand new servo 4 times. Upgraded the servo to the one that's in it. We upgraded the ESC, we upgraded the motor, the front and rear diff, the drive shaft, the spur gear, the pinion gear. Everything's replaced on this car. The tires, rims, everything. The only thing that hasn't been replaced is the cage because that's the only thing that seems to be putting up with regular use of the car. I mean, we're not jumping our house with it. We're not jumping off cliffs. We're just running the car, and it literally just fell apart in our hands. The shocks are great that come with the car. I can say that. The chassis is great that comes with the car. But all the other parts have broken, fallen apart, or just wore out. So if you like this car and you buy yourself one, be prepared to start changing stuff right out the gate. I would suggest right after buying the car, you get with it a new ESC and a brand new motor because that's garbage. It's literally just going to fry out, melt down, completely disarray on you. And then as soon as you're going fast and you collide into the smallest object, the hard plastic's going to shatter on your steering knuckles. And that was like the first thing that happened to us. We lost a steering knuckle. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to play with this hard plastic anymore. I'm just going to change it out. I recommend that you do metal steering knuckles, metal A-arms. I recommend that you keep your plastic push-pulls because they have less slack in them and they don't come out of adjustment easily like this stuff does. I have to adjust these back wheels in a little bit again because I got these metal push-pulls. But once I get it all readjusted, it'll be well balanced again, other than the play that the push-pulls have in them. And that's that.
And thank you for all the subscribers and all the views on our shorts.
Yeah. Big shout out to the community out there. We appreciate you guys watching our shorts and definitely subscribing. That's key to having a channel on YouTube is having subscribers. And like I said before in this video, our first and our 1000th we're going to be given a prize to. And then after every 1,000 after that, what we're going to do is just randomly select one of our subscribers, send them a surprise gift. we really appreciate any feedback we get for our channel, whether it's negative or positive. You know, we're positive people, so the negative stuff doesn't keep us on the downside. It helps us to progress to a
We
better.
always have more likes than dislikes. So.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. So, with all this being said and done, there is your muscle flame, completely upgraded 100%. Other than the battery. Now, if this thing glitches, I'm going to be a little bit upset, but it is not the end of the world. I'll just put a 3-cell of that same size, you know, that same dimension of a battery. It'll just be taller.
Does the tire swell still work?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to swell the tires. You guys want to see that real quick?
Here.
Hit that like button right now. All right, we'll do the swell then. Here you go. You got to be careful when you do your tire swell that you don't hit your hands with the swelling tires. You want to definitely hold the car center.
It's burnt his hand before, and I'm pretty sure it burnt my hand.
All right, go ahead, Craig. Battery's not charged.
Oh.
Oh, don't drive it on the table. All right, so we're going to have to charge battery. We'll do a tire swell in the other video. Is it glitching? Go forward. No, hold it. Go forward. It's better, right?
So.
You just flipped it. All right, it's definitely better. We'll charge the battery, and that should ensure that we get rid of all the glitching that we're having. If it continues to give us any grief at all, we're going to upgrade that battery to a 3-cell 7.4 2200 milliamp battery, but it'll be a 3-cell with a bigger burst on it. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Thank you guys. I appreciate you 100%. Like, share, and subscribe, or at least subscribe. Period. Have a nice day, and we will continue on our mission of RCing and how to do videos, and we will definitely be throwing you guys some of our run videos as well. Atypically, we do a run video and something breaks, and then I have a how to fix video for you. Not intentionally, of course, because it costs money to do those, but what we do is we fix our stuff and other people's stuff. My neighbor has a couple cars that he's got broke. We're just waiting for him to dig them out so I can do some videos, and they're both wltoy cars. They have push-pull steering problems that keep occurring. I believe his are all metal. He bought the completely upgraded models off eBay. He got a package deal for 2 cars right around $260 something for both cars, I believe. I'm not 100%, can't quote me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So yeah, there it is. Subscribe. That's, you know, that's just how it is and how we like it. The likes are definitely letting us know we're on the right course with everything. And again, thank you.